Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. Today I'm finally getting to my Sci-Fi Dine-In review from my last trip, which was like late April, early May, during the 30th anniversary of Hollywood Studios. I decided to go to Sci-Fi Dine-In on my own as a solo diner, and I find that Sci-Fi gets a lot of hate for some reason. I think people don't necessarily love the food. A lot of people complain it's just burgers and shakes and all of that, but if you think about it being a 1960s dine-in, it kind of makes sense with the period that they're supposed to be in. And there's a lot of back and forth about whether the food is actually really good or not, and if it's worth having a sit-down meal for in Hollywood Studios. First, I want to preface that I think that when it comes to quick service or sit down, Hollywood Studios says sit down much better in general. I'm a really big fan of Hollywood Brown Derby, Mama Melrose, even something like 50s Primetime Cafe, which is really fun if you're into that kind of interaction with your waiter or waitress. And I just think in general, those are better experiences and better food than quick service. With Sci-Fi Dine-In, I actually kind of avoided it for a bit because of a lot of the naysayers, and I wanted to really go back and give it a chance for lunch. So I went for lunch on the 30th anniversary. Therefore, it was a bit busy at the park, but it actually was surprisingly not too crazy. Most people came to the park early in the morning for the parade that they had, the unveiling of the new logo, which I don't know how you guys feel about that logo. I thought it was pretty anticlimactic. And then people left and then came back for the new nighttime show, the animation show. But for the most part, actually in the middle of the day, it got pretty quiet. So I would say it was not too packed, but Sci-Fi Dine-In 100% was. There's something that I've always noticed with Sci-Fi Dine-In is actually very hard to get a reservation there. So despite everyone's like naysaying about it, it seems like it's still pretty popular. So I remember going in and it was pretty packed in the main check-in area. And even though I had a reservation, they did tell me that waits were a bit long. So I checked in. Actually, they couldn't find my reservation at first, which had me a little bit nervous. But they kind of went through and they were able to figure it out and told me that I was gonna have a little bit of a wait. You know, they gave me the buzzer. The nice thing about the Sci-Fi Dine-In is the location is right next to and actually connected to Baseline Tap House. So I was actually able to go over there and grab a drink with one of my friends, Steve, who also has a channel. He kind of appeared in one of my vlogs, and we were able to like have a beer and have a drink and hang out. So I probably waited a good 25 minutes though to be seated despite having my reservation and showing up early. So one of the things that people talk about with dining solo there is that you might end up being a hitchhiker, and I decided to just brave it up and see what was gonna happen. And sure enough, I was sitting behind this couple who was sitting in front of me. When I got in, they were like, "Oh, it appears you have a hitchhiker," kind of as a way to be like, don't be shocked that there's this random person sitting behind you. Fortunately for me, these people were really nice. We chatted a little bit. Didn't like interrupt my meal though. Like we just had a quick few minutes chat, and I still feel like my waiter was super attentive even though I was by myself. He was very well aware that I was on my own, that he was taking these orders separately. So I don't think that there was any issues with me being solo. And like I said, it wasn't awkward. It wasn't like the people I was with were trying to have a conversation with me too much or felt bad or whatever. So it actually ended up being pretty comfortable. I didn't think it was all that bad. So you go into Sci-Fi Dine-In, it's pretty dark because the whole idea is that you're at a drive-in. So, you know, you're sitting in cars essentially that face forward, and you've got the projector that's playing like the trailers of all these old like 60s movies that you watch. If you were there long enough, you will see this thing loop. I'm pretty sure it's only about a 45-minute loop or so. And that's kind of the whole vibe. Very dark, so if that's not your jam, I don't know if this will be for you. Like it can be, I had to pull out my phone to look at my menu. Like it can be pretty dark in those cars. So keeping in mind that I'm actually allergic to red meat, so I can't do like a classic burger or anything like that, I decided to go with the chicken pasta. It's a huge dish. Like when they give you pasta at Disney World, this is something I've noticed. It's like 3 servings of pasta. It's kind of insane. I'm gonna read the description off of the menu here so you guys know what's in it, but it's a penne pasta and smoked tomato 4 cheese cream sauce with baby kale, fennel, zucchini, red bell peppers. You can also get whole wheat penne pasta if you want to get a little healthier. If you don't like fennel, you're not gonna like this. Fennel has a very distinct taste. Some people like it, some people don't. I like it, so it was good for me, but I can imagine other people not liking it. I also think you could probably ask for it without. Disney is so accommodating with how they make their food. So if you were like, please don't put any fennel in there, I'm pretty sure you could do that. I thought it was delicious. I was actually surprised at how good the pasta was, because in the past, before I knew I had this allergy, or before I developed it, I ate burgers there and shakes and fries and all of the typical stuff, which was good and fine. But I don't think that you necessarily think pasta when you go to Sci-Fi Dine-In, and it was actually pretty delicious. I also want to call out the beer that I had there that was so good. It's called the Orange Blossom Pilsner. It's actually from Orlando. I'll read the description. It is 5.5% and brewed with orange blossom honey, dry, crisp beer with a delicate orange blossom notes and honey character. It was delicious. If you like the taste of like orange and honey, you're gonna love this beer. It was really, really good. I had considered a shake, but I knew I was going to Rock and Roller Coaster not too long after my meal, so I didn't want to eat something that heavy like pasta and a shake. Ugh. That'd be kind of a weird, heavy combination. So overall, I thought the food was actually surprisingly very good. The service was really good. Like I said, the waiter was super attentive, super, super nice. I actually ate and left in the time that the people were still there. I was a bit quicker than them as one person, and but there was never any rush. He always like let me know that despite giving me the bill and all of that, there was just no rush for me to get up and go. One thing that I always love about Disney World restaurants, I do never feel rushed. I overall actually really enjoyed my experience. While I didn't eat, plentiful things, I didn't get dessert or anything like that, what I did have was really good. I think the solo experience was actually pretty great. I was always a little afraid of being a hitchhiker, but it actually turned out to be quite nice and really uneventful. So if you've been thinking about going solo and that's kind of freaked you out, I promise you, as again someone who is kind of introverted and I get anxious in those sorts of situations, it actually was uneventful. Like I said, like it was totally fine. I do think that because it attracts a lot of people and usually it seems to be pretty packed, you're probably gonna have a wait despite your reservation, so be prepared for that. That's the only real big downside. And definitely try to book something a little bit on and off time. Don't do right at 12 or 1 o'clock for lunch. If you can eat lunch at 3 or 4 o'clock, even better. If you can eat early dinner at 5 o'clock, better. Try to always book something that's a little off, especially for that location. A lot of people compare Sci-Fi Dine-In and 50s Primetime just because it's all this decade-driven sort of atmosphere. And I'll be honest, I think the food at Sci-Fi is actually better than Primetime Cafe. I think Primetime Cafe is just okay. And I think that Sci-Fi Dine-In actually has more flavor, more options, just more interesting stuff. That's just me though. So those are my thoughts on the Sci-Fi Dine-In. Again, I know this is a pretty polarizing restaurant, so I'd really like to know in the comments below about your experiences. Have you gone recently? Has it been a while? What's your favorite thing to eat? Did you hate something about it? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, you should subscribe. I make videos every single week. And there's lots going on as we're moving into D23 time. I'm going to D23 in literally a couple of weeks, so there's definitely gonna be vlogs from that and just general reactions. I would also say to follow me on Instagram. I don't normally push my Instagram. It's a mix of Disney and personal, but I will definitely be doing Instagram stories quite a lot when I'm at D23. I love doing that when I'm physically at places. So if you want to catch me on stories, you should definitely follow me. It's IvyWinter on Instagram. It'd be hard not to find me. I'm pretty sure the photo in my profile photo is at the Sci-Fi Dine-In. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of the day. Bye.